I have the privilege of being the membership director here at the Chamber of Commerce. And we have several dignitaries that are with us as well this morning. And I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce them. And we have State Representative Mike Dodson is with us this morning, as well as Riley County Commissioners Greg McKinley, Catherine Foke, and of course, John Ford, who we'll be hearing from just shortly. We also have Riley County Clerk Rich Varga with us as well. Manhattan City Commissioner Mark Hattesault has joined us, and I am excited to say that, as well as our own board chair, Mr. Mark Baysham. Welcome at one and all. We appreciate you all coming this morning. We have quite the lineup today, so at this time, though, I'd really like to give a great shout out to our sponsor, who is Networks Plus, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Kelly Gillespie. Kelly?
Well, good morning. I'm Kelly Gillespie with Networks Plus. I'm going to share my screen here and do a little slide presentation to go over what Networks Plus is and who we are. But Networks Plus, we're people plus services that provide IT security and IC support. Who we are, we're experts in the IT field and cybersecurity. We provide cutting edge IT and cybersecurity services. We're people focused. We understand that your computers are the instruments that you use, but the people that are using it is who we're there to support. And then communication. We try to use language. I myself am visual, so a lot of times I'll use visual things or ways to translate what our texts are saying so that folks can understand it and keep some of that more technical jargon out of our day-to-day when we're interacting with our partners. What we do is IT and cybersecurity support. We can also help if you need hardware and software. We can support in getting those and leverage vendors such as HP and Dell. Consulting and engineering. If you just would like us to come out and look and see what you have, we can look at it. And me as a consultant, I come on site and kind of look at what you have. And if you want a better plan for the future, then we can get our engineers involved and help come up with a more detailed plan. Cloud, if you're looking at trying to learn more about cloud and hybrid solutions, and in other words, moving some of your servers off of site and put it in the cloud, we're able to do that. Backup and business continuity, making sure that your data is protected and that you can get to it. God forbid that something were to happen, a cyber attack, a physical failure of the device or the infrastructure, and get you back up and running, even from a remote site if you have to. And then voice over IP phone solutions. We do offer those to help businesses. With our VoIP service, there's a lot of people last year that had to work from home. You could actually take your phone off your desk and take it home and work with it. And to keep people running and their businesses' doors open. Special offers, we have some Microsoft Teams training that we can come in and help do. And if you have any questions or want to reach out and get something scheduled, there's our email address. I'll leave that up for a second, and for anybody who would like to copy it down and email us. Marla, that's about all I have. So Charlotte, back over to you, I guess.
You're on mute, Charlotte.
Man, isn't that the word of 2021 still? You're on mute. I swore I'm going to get a shirt that says that. Sorry about that. Thank you, Kelly. And what I would like to also say is if you would like to put your contact information into the chat box so everyone has that, please feel free to do so. I want to remind everybody as we talk about the chat box as we go with our speakers today, if you have questions for our speakers, please feel free to put them into the chat box. We'll be monitoring that. And as time allows, we'll be asking those questions. And if we don't get to your question today during Good Morning Manhattan, we'll make sure that we get with our speaker and get that question answered and back to you, just so that you're aware of that. So for our first speaker today, I'm excited to have President Kevin Ingram with us with Manhattan Christian College. He graduated from Manhattan Christian College himself in 1986 with a degree in Bible ministries and an emphasis in church music, and received his master's degree in the New Testament from Johnson Bible College in 2002. During his ministerial and administrative career, I tried to put those together, Kevin, sorry about that. He served a variety of roles. He began his career as a youth minister at the Oakley Christian Church, then as a senior minister of Community Christian Church in Great Bend. He has served on the Manhattan Christian College Board of Trustees before he joined their staff in 1999 as Director of Alumni and Church Relations. In 2002, he became the Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Manhattan Christian College, and in 2005, he was named the 7th president of the college. Locally, Kevin is an active member of the University Christian Church. He's a member of the Manhattan Rotary Club, a trustee of the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, and he also serves on our board of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. He is also a member of the Kansas Christian Evangelizing Association Executive Committee, the President's Association of Christian Colleges and Universities, and the Continuing Community of the North American Christian Convention and the Board of the Kansas Independent College Association. It is my privilege to introduce to you President Kevin Ingram. Kevin.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte, very much. It's great to have the opportunity with Good Morning Manhattan. I always enjoy attending the events and hearing the updates, but especially seeing everybody. And I can't wait until we can all be back in person with one of these events so that we can interact a lot more than just being on the screen with one another. And Charlotte, I can totally relate. I think the new phrase, instead of the cell phone commercial, "Can you hear me now?" is going to be the mute button on Zoom. "Can you hear me now?" Because we need to remember to take that off. And so I hate to say it, I'm glad it happened to you because it probably would have happened to me if it wouldn't have happened to you. So thank you very much for taking one for the team. MCC's mission is to educate, equip, and enrich Christian leaders. People, I think, know it, but maybe don't think about it often, that MCC has been in the same location since 1927. We've been just a part of the community since then, and this September we'll be celebrating 94 years here on the corner of 14th and Anderson. And it's just been, I know, in my entire time connected with the school, starting in '81 as a student and now continuing as serving here at the college. Manhattan's a great city and a great place to be, and MCC is really glad to be a part of where we are and a part of this great community. And that's our mission, to educate, equip, and enrich Christian leaders. We do it through our degree programs, preparing young men and women for a ministry, but we also do it through a dual degree relationship with Kansas State University, which has been in existence since about 1968. We've had a relationship with K-State and students going both places, and our student body on any given year is about 30 to 40% are in a dual degree at K-State, and the other 60 to 70%, it varies every year, are getting degree programs from MCC. And it's not only a unique program. A lot of schools have dual degree relationships, but with the location of us being right across the street. And we even had it last year. Every year we have visitors from around the nation that come in and say, "I've heard for years y'all are across the street," and they'll say, "You are literally right across the street." And yes, we are. And so it works very well. Just to give you an update on where our year is, we are currently on spring break. In the fall semester, we did change our schedule just like K-State did and moved a week earlier. But this semester, we decided to keep it the same. We had good success in just managing the COVID virus on our campus. We did have a spike in November, just like the rest of the community did. And but we opted not to change our spring semester schedule, and the semester's gone very well for us. And very happy to say that, currently and for several weeks now, we've had no one in quarantine, no one positive for the virus. And so our staff, our faculty, administration, our students have done a really good job at mitigating the virus on our campus. So based on that, we've been in in-person classes throughout the year. We started in person in August, and the only time we went to online was in November during that spike right before Thanksgiving. And we decided to continue to keep our classes online. One of the main purposes was not only for the health and safety of our students during that spike, but it was also so that all of our students would have a consistent product. A teacher wasn't teaching hybrid and teaching in the room or to people online. We wanted them all to be getting the same product, and it hopefully helped our students as well as our faculty. But we did reopen again in January and have been offering in-person classes. And now, even when we went online with classes, we kept our campus open because there's so many students who, if they weren't positive or weren't in quarantine, they have local jobs, and that finances and income is important to them. So we kept our campus open with even stricter guidelines lines, like our campus center where they eat, our dining center. All of the meals were to go. They couldn't sit and eat at tables. We changed many different things. We changed our library hours, everything. And we did everything we could to keep it safe. And we ended the first half of this semester, with just doing very well. And we're very pleased with that. Higher ed was included in phase 2 of the vaccinations, and the majority of our faculty and staff have started their vaccination progress, and they've had their first one, and here next week we'll all start getting our second one. And one of the things we're really happy with is having Howie's Activity Center has allowed us to have the space to still operate in person while abiding completely by the health orders mandated by Riley County Health Department in the city of Manhattan. And so we've just continued to move classes up a space in size. And so if they were in this size classroom, they moved up a size and we socially distanced. And so it gave us the room to move everything up, and our chapel is functioning as our large classroom. And so it's worked well. Our enrollment, like many other colleges around the nation, has been challenging in the last few years, some of which is due to a declining number of high school students in Kansas. And just where the population of Kansas is, we're in a dip with the number of high school students, and it's affected us all. Our fall enrollment was 177, which was down about 3% from our previous year. And while we didn't like it being down, we were glad it was only down 3%. But one of the encouraging numbers is our overall new student total from a new student perspective was up 13%. And our first time freshman total for students who are doing their first time of college was up 34% over the previous fall. And so our admissions crew has done a great job of continuing to move forward and then develop relationships to help us get great students. Our decline in fall of 20 was in large part to us discontinuing our baseball program. When you're a small college and you discontinue a sport like that has several dozen students, it affects our enrollment overall, and that hurt our retention in the previous year significantly, but it was a decision that we needed to make. But a number that people don't often know is our overall enrollment, while we will be 177 in the fall, our overall unduplicated head count will be closer to about 240 to 250 students. And that shows the impact of the dual degree program, because a lot of our upperclassmen are only taking maybe 3 hours at MCC and are full-time at K-State. And so they may only take one class, one semester, and not both. So that gives us a larger head count overall. We're pleased to say that about 7-8 years ago, set the goal to have 2 new endowed scholarships a year. And we have exceeded that and have averaged 3 new endowed scholarships a year. And I'm very happy to say that we recently received our largest endowed scholarship gift ever of $1.3 million. And we're just very grateful for that. And all of that will be used to help underwrite scholarships. And for a school our size, that's, well, for any size, $1.3 million endowment is significant, and it's extremely significant for us, and we're very grateful. And we have some upcoming events that we had planned to be totally virtual, but now due to the changing health orders, while still abiding by those health orders, we're going to have some events that will be hybrid. Although the virtual has worked well for us, our Women's World, due to the spike in November, we moved it entirely virtual, and we normally have between 600 to 800 ladies. This year, we had more than 3,000 participate virtually. And so from that perspective, it was awesome to have that exposure. And although a loss to not have everybody in person, not only from a MCC perspective, but a Manhattan perspective, because we love having the 600 to 800 ladies come to town. Overall, it was a win to have that many be a part of an MCC event. So it would have really been the largest MCC event we ever had, although it was virtual. But moving forward, we'll have some hybrid events coming up. For one, we have a free Bible class. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. March 29th. It starts on Monday night, and it'll go for 5 Monday nights from there, from 6 to 8:30, and it's on Christian theology, and one of our faculty members, Dave Henry, will be teaching it. And there will be some room for some on campus, but the rest virtual. If anyone's interested, they can go on our website and get the information. And then coming up on Friday, April 17th, we started about 5 or 6 years ago, our Vision 360 event. The purpose of it is to give everybody just a deeper understanding of MCC and what we're all about. We talk about our mission. We talk about our past. When we award our alumni award winners, who are some just very worthy recipients from what they've done in making an impact in this world. But we also award our current student awards. And we award them for their service and leadership on campus is one of the awards, their service and leadership off campus and some other, maybe a nonprofit here in town, some of them volunteering with school kids, and then also service and leadership in a local church. And so we would love to have people be a part of that night. And we will also be sharing a little bit more about the future of MCC and what we have on tap for the future. And that's on April 17th at 6 p.m. It'll be held in the Howry's Activity Center. Again, it will be limited from a in-person perspective, but people can join us virtually at 6 o'clock online. And if you're interested, please go on our website and sign up, because we would love to have you a part of that evening. And we're going to have an exciting announcement about a future opportunity for MCC that I am just can't ready share yet. I'd hope to this morning, but it's not far enough along, but we will be sharing it on Friday, April 17th. So we would love to have people join us. And last year we were unable to hold commencement in May. We moved it to August. But this year we are planning on commencement on Saturday, May 8th, to be able to celebrate our graduates as they finish. So I think that's all I have for now, and that's my 10 minutes and maybe a minute more. But thank you, Charla, very much for allowing me the opportunity to share this morning.
You're certainly welcome. There's some exciting numbers that we're hearing. That's awesome. The partnership that you have with Manhattan and the community is so valuable, and we are very appreciative of that. You also have a great breakfast that you put on in September, typically. Your leadership breakfast that you
Yes, we do, and we already have our speaker for that. Last year it was going to be a friend of ours from who he and his partners own about 35 Sonic restaurants, but he's also just opened up Slim Chickens, about 7 of those, and Greg Rowden, a friend of mine from Arkansas, and 2 of his Slim Chickens are the top 2 out of about 150 to 200 restaurants in the nation. And so we're really excited about him coming this September. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. It's usually that 3rd Friday or so in September. So people make sure that they're a part of that, and we'd love to have them. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Kevin, if you would like to put any contact information or your website into the chat box, please feel free to do so people can look at that.
Okay, thank you very much.
And all the work that you do in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tara Grubb. Many of you know Tara. She is certainly someone that is very involved in our community and certainly in the chamber, and she is our HYPE committee chair this year. Tara is a sales and marketing manager and lead coordinator for Complete Weddings Plus Events. She's been the chair for HYPE or YP since 2018. She moved to the Manhattan area in 2011 to help open the Manhattan Conference Center, and she decided to make Manhattan area her forever home. She is now raising her family here of 3 children, along with her husband Ted. She has over 14 years in the event industry and has been a member of the Young Professionals since she arrived here in Manhattan. Please welcome Tara Grubb, our HYPE committee chair. Tara.
Thank you so much. I don't know, my bio seems very short, but I'm going to take you guys on a little story time here this morning. So hopefully that works. But yes, thank you so much for having me on here, and so that I can share all about HYPE, which HYPE to some of you may be something fairly new, but hopefully you guys attended the annual meeting that we had back in 2019 before the world ended, and definitely, or I guess it was 2020 before the world ended. And we rolled out that the Manhattan Young Professionals would now be named HYPE. And so that is our new branding, and super excited about that. I'll share my screen here shortly, but I did want to take you guys on kind of my journey through Young Professionals, so you can kind of see where that passion comes from for me and what kind of our mission and goal is definitely moving forward. So I actually have been a part of different chambers throughout the entire state of Kansas in my journey of being a businesswoman, and actually started in Topeka, where I started my own event planning company in my 20s. I know you're thinking that's exactly what I look like now, but started there, and I found the chamber to be something that I wanted to be involved with because I wanted to own a business. And that was my first thought of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, was something that business owners did. And that was really the only thought process I had about the chamber. And then fast forward several years later, I met that boy, Ted, ironically at Country Stampede, but that's a story for another day. But he was from Ellsworth, Kansas, in that area, and I decided to take the leap with my business and move to Ellsworth, Kansas, and didn't know anybody, knew I was starting a business over in the Ellsworth and Great Bend area. And so again, I joined the chamber because I knew that that was a way to get a step in the door for my business relationships. And again, all through really my early 20s, the chamber to me was something to evolve my business. And although throughout that organization, through all of the cities that I lived in, it became friendships as well, I still had that mindset that it was for my business. And then again, fast forward a couple more years, and I came to Manhattan to help open the Manhattan Conference Center. When I first started there, it was in October. I worked out of the Fairfield. The conference center was a dirt floor. It was very brand new. I decided to put my business on hold for a little while and just help the conference center grow and become their event planner and run the banquets department. And of course, Brad Everett was like, "You're joining the chamber, you're going to go to chamber things." And I'm like, well, I'm not the business owner. And I just kind of had this thought like, well, why do I need to go to the chamber thing? And from there, I really kind of grew. I'm like, wait, that's the wrong thought process. I need to go to the chamber to not only form business relationships, but I just moved to Manhattan, Kansas, left Ted behind in Ellsworth so he could find a job and sell our house. And I actually ended up living in the hotel for 8 months of my life. And I moved to this town not knowing anybody. I moved to a college town, not going to K-State. And don't tell anybody, when I first moved here, I was a KU fan. So I was even more of an outsider. And I knew that I needed the chamber to build more on my friendship level than my business level at that point. And so when I joined the Manhattan Chamber, I was so surprised on how much that philosophy lived here, and that it was more about building personal relationships that would lead into business relationships. And I hands down can tell you that majority of the friendships that I have now came from the Manhattan Chamber. And luckily, majority of the business relationships also came from the chamber. And after I left the Hilton after 3 years, I started back up my company, and being a part of that chamber allowed me to already have those connections and really help grow my business again and lead into everything that I'm doing now. And so definitely what our full mission is to make sure that people know that you don't have to be the owner of the company to be a part of the chamber. You don't have to be the CEO. You don't have to even be in management. You can be a college student and still have some involvement in the chamber to get to know the community and get to know what is out there. And so that is definitely where I saw myself in when I started to take on the role as either a chair or the event liaison that I've kind of been over the years. Was I wanted to get that mission out there, that we were more than just business relationships. We could build friendships and network and personally grow in all different ways. And so when we did the whole rebranding of Hype, we really wanted to hit that strong, and we wanted to make sure that we started at the level of the college students, so that again, they want to stay here and work here and raise families here. And that even our Manhattan High graduates decide that, you know what, at first I didn't think I wanted to stay in Manhattan. I didn't want to go to K-State, but maybe now I'm changing my mind and I do want to stay a townie, and I do want to, make Manhattan my home forever. And so we're really trying to make sure that they can see what the benefit is in being involved in your chamber early on in any capacity. So that's my little 2 cents there, but I'm going to share my screen here if I can remember how to do all of this. Perfect. I'm assuming everybody can see that. Charlotte's giving me a thumbs up. Okay, great. So HYPE, the acronym behind HYPE is Helping Young Professionals Emerge. And when we talk about hype, you will soon find that we often say we are going to get people hyped up about young professionals. So as corny as it may sound, it really kind of flew off the tongue. I'm not going to lie, I was definitely hesitant about changing the name and wanted to make sure that people still knew what this organization was about. And so we've decided to kind of still keep that YP name in there. And we went around when we did the whole rebranding, and hopefully a lot of you, again, were at that annual meeting where I've seen things from our rebranding. that our big thing was to bring to light and show this fun, new, exciting opportunity for everybody in our community. And so it's been a pretty fun ride. Not gonna say it wasn't stressful, especially when 2020 derailed a lot of our programming and kind of stopped us in our tracks. But we are gearing up for some amazing things in 2021. So super excited about that. So just to, I went too far. Give you a brief overview of kind of what the overall, somebody else doing that? I'm not touching anything. Okay, so our 5 areas of focus, again, we are here, our mission, I guess I'll start with that, is we are here to help young professionals connect, engage, and develop. We are really hoping that they can, again, see Manhattan as a diverse community. They want to stay here, work here, and then hopefully play here. So our mission, we have 5 pillars now. Before, a lot of our programming was done with our staff liaison. Dina has been amazing backbone to a lot of this. And we had some small committees that kind of helped with events. And now we have a committee, a steering committee full of amazing people sharing great ideas. Each of them have even separate teams that we're calling pillars, that have a group of individuals and volunteers that are again bringing amazing ideas to the table. So it's been super great to see so many people get involved and share their ideas with us. Our first pillar is engage. This is really where we are trying to get those doors open in our universities all over, including MCC and K-State, and even some of the community colleges around. This is also where we are trying to get that engagement for our military community. We have so many that move here, and although they may not stay for long, they're here long enough to start building those friendships and needing some of those business connections. And so we want to be for not only the military, individual that came here, but also their trailing spouses. And we want to make sure that they can have that sense of belonging, whether they're here 6 months or 10 years. We really want to just be that resource for them and make sure that they know what all Manhattan has to offer. And so Amber with the Chamber has done an amazing job at some different job fairs and really getting that, again, door open so that we can really get our mission out there and let people know that, again, you don't have to be in management to see yourself a professional. If you go to a job every day and you want to make connections, by golly, you can be a young professional with us. And don't worry, we don't check IDs at the door. So if you're over the 40, it's okay. We'll let you in. And connect is our next pillar. That is really where we're building relationships, but it is more business focused. Those are a lot of our lunch and learns, our lunch and coffee groups that we put together. We're also doing a fun new event where we're going to do some speed networking. And then one thing that we're super excited to hopefully roll out in 2021 and definitely in 2022 is a mentoring program, where a lot of you may come into play, where we're looking for those CEOs and that management to mentor some of our younger people just entering the workforce, to help guide them on their track to coming from employee to management, and having those connections where there's somebody that they can reach out to, that they can just bounce some ideas off, maybe share their resume with, and do different things. So super excited about that programming coming up. Develop, that is again more business geared towards that's where our lunch and learns come in. We are doing a ton of different seminars. This pillar worked out well, where virtual events, hosting different webinars and stuff like that for that business development has seemed to work out well. And was one of the big pillars that kept us moving forward in 2020. And so I've been super excited about what that pillar has brought. We are doing tons of different things, which I'll get to on the next slide with that pillar. But again, lots of professional development coming out of there. Play. Play is definitely what most people have known our young professionals group about, our Hooray Thursdays, our socials, and the connotation, I'm not going to lie, around young professionals, even when I first got involved, is they're just a drinking crowd. That is not at all what we're about. That's not what our mission is about. Not going to lie, sometimes we have cocktails in our hand and have a great time, but there's definitely more mission behind us than that. And so we are changing the way that our social programming is done and bringing more, in a sense, we're having socials that also have programming. We also really wanted to, as she mentioned in my bio, I'm a mom of 3. The socials that I attended when I moved here in 2011 are completely different time frame now than what I can fit into my schedule. And so we knew that we needed to market to that crowd that also had families. And so my drive on that play group was really, let's bring some more family-friendly events. Let's build those relationships so that we can have some mom groups and some dad groups, and definitely those family-friendly things that people can come and network and get to know more families in our community. And so that will definitely be a big focus moving forward. And then our last one is our #LoveMHK. That is very much exactly what the word says. There are so many great things. Again, I've only been here for a little over 10 years, and I don't even know everything that Manhattan has to offer yet. And as I've gone through and really started to talk to people through this Young Professionals, I'm learning so much. And so Love MHK is really giving back to our community. It's our philanthropy. It's us trying to get some volunteer projects together. We're also trying to get that civic engagement. We want people to know about our local commission and the different, boards and everything that is out there. And then the big thing that group will really start to try to hone in on when events get back to being live is really being that community outreach of what is going on in the community. And so if any of your organizations have any events coming up that Young Professionals would benefit from and really need to be in the know about, definitely let us know. Shoot us an email. You can get in touch with Dina or Amber at the Chamber, as well as myself, and we are happy to push your events. I can't say that we can push every single event every day because there are a lot of events going on, but definitely we want to get the word out so that we can make sure that our group and everybody, you have participants at your events, and that word gets out there to them. So that is us in a nutshell. Okay. So that brings us to our upcoming events. We have, again, some great things in the works for March. Tomorrow or Friday, I don't even know what day this is. Friday is our HYPE second annual meeting. For those of you that attended the annual meeting in 2020, we did an after party at the Discovery Center. That was our big launch party, very informal, was just come hang out with us. Thank you for being our flash mob at the annual meeting kind of thing. And it turned out really great. We had over 150 people show up, and I think it was even possibly more than that. Should have looked at those numbers, but it was an amazing turnout, and we were super thankful for everybody that helped make that a thing. But on the 19th, we have our second annual meeting. It starts at 7:30 at the K-State Alumni Center. We are doing desserts, and we have the Grateful Dudes live band coming and playing for us. And then we have a great program. Mark Bashamp will be speaking. We have Dennis with SBS speaking. And then we have Darren Solden really talking about how much the economic development and the YP really do tie in together. And so super excited about that. Tickets are still available, although technically registration has closed as of yesterday. We are still taking a few tickets and/or tables. So if anybody would like to, again, not checking IDs for the over 40 at the door, so anybody can come. But tickets are available at $20 per person, or we have tables of 8 for $120. So definitely join us for that fun time. On the 25th, we have our standing reoccurring meeting, which is Hooray Thursday. I shouldn't say meeting. This is our informal, no agenda event. Come and have fun, network if you want, socialize with your friends. This is the last Thursday of every month. And so Hooray Thursday this month is at Rockin' Case. Super excited to team up with them. And then our Develop is doing our Dave Ramsey event. We had a Dave Ramsey earlier, or the end of February. We had one, and so this is a virtual event. Dave Ramsey is doing a Tackling Debt virtual thing. There's still tickets available for that at $10. Anybody can attend that. Again, it's virtual, so do it in the comfort of your home, in your PJs if you choose to, but that is a noon event. And for April, we have our April 6th is our group lunch. Again, our Connect team gets together at local restaurants and teams people up randomly to just network over your lunch hours. So super fun. Hooray Thursday will also be in April again, which is the 29th. Our location is still to be determined. And then we have 2 other events that we're working on exact dates in April. One is our Love MHK and the Young Trustees are actually trying to team up to do a fun event where everybody can learn about the different volunteer opportunities that Manhattan has to offer. And so they'll be reaching out to some different nonprofit organizations to figure out what your needs are, and hopefully setting it up kind of like a business showcase where we'll have some different vendor tables and people can kind of come around and sign up for different things. If you by chance caught our board membership 101, it will be kind of similar to that, where we just want organizations to share how we can be involved. And then we're also working on a virtual event with our develop team, Evolving Relationships in 2021's Flex Work Environment. So we're going to do a virtual event and get some speakers involved in that on what does a hybrid work environment look like and how do you adapt to that, because there are still a lot of our organizations that are not fully back full in person. And so we're going to roll that out and see how that goes. And then lastly, we do have a few events in the works that will be for May and June and potentially later. We are doing a meetup with Wamego Young Professionals. We do typically like to meet up with Wamego Young Professionals as well as Junction City Young Professionals at least a couple times a year. And so we're going to do one at Willie's Hideout in St. George. Super excited. That's right down the street for me. And then we are doing, or hoping to do, which Keith, if you're still on the line, somebody from our organization will definitely be reaching out to you soon. But we are hoping to do some personal development and doing something fun with gardening, an evening with fun, with drinks and potting plants, and doing something fun, hopefully at Blueville Nursery. He does not know that I was going to say this, so hopefully.
Yeah, better send me an email.
Absolutely, we will get on your calendar.
Yeah,
And then our Family Friendly Fun Day is coming up hopefully in May or June. We're looking to get together at a park, enjoy some fun times with families. We'll have some games and different stations set up for the kiddos. This is definitely in my wheelhouse, so I'm super excited for that event. And then we have a professional development event coming up for Managing Up. Again, tips for how to go from employee to boss. So that is a typical lunch and learn type of event. We're still unsure if that one will be virtual or in person. You can definitely learn more on our website, which is hypemhk.com. I'll put my contact information in the chat box as well, so definitely feel free to reach out to us. Before we go, I do just want to have you guys take a look at the screen. These are our generous investors. One thing that we switched around for HYPE is that we looked for investors this year, and soon we will go to a membership product where people will actually pay to be a member of HYPE. And we are hoping that a lot of the businesses build into that, and so their employees will, in a sense, get that membership with the business name. And so these are our gracious sponsors. We've actually had our top 5 investors are now sitting on our steering committee so that we can really make sure that we are doing the things and getting the involvement from those that are trusting in us to make an impact. And so super excited about having all of them on board. And again, HYPE second annual meeting this Friday, March 19th. If you have nothing to do on a Friday night, join us at 7:30. It will be an amazing time.
Sounds like a lot of fun, Tara. Thank you. I would encourage everyone, if you have not checked out HYPE, to please go to their website. And Tara can certainly put her contact information in the chat box. You can certainly reach out to the chamber as well. Amber at manhattan.org is another email address that you can reach out to if you have questions about HYPE, or if there's individuals in your place of employment that you feel would benefit from being a part of HYPE. Please encourage them to do that. We look forward to it. Thanks for spending some time with us early this morning, Tara. We appreciate it. Our next speaker is Commissioner John Ford. Commissioner Ford was elected to the commission in November of 2018. He was born in Leavenworth, Kansas, and has lived in both Ohio and Kentucky, but has been a resident of Manhattan and the Riley County area for over 32 years. He is a graduate of the Manhattan High School, a graduate of Manhattan Area Technical School, and served as student body vice president of the Student Government Association. He attended Kansas State University of Construction Science and served on the City of Manhattan's Social Service Advisory Board. He was vice chair for 4 years of that board, as well as serving on the Riley County FEMA board. Commissioner Ford has worked on several local as well as congressional and U.S. Senate campaigns. He's an avid fan of Kansas State University and the University of Kentucky athletics. In his spare time, he enjoys sports such as football, baseball, and college basketball, as well as reading, music, and of course, politics. Please welcome Commissioner Ford.
Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to join you here this late March, or I guess mid-March, Thursday morning. Wish it could be in person. I know Kevin was talking about that earlier. It's tough to give these speeches and these dialogues when it's just you and a computer screen and four walls, and you don't know if everybody's really paying attention or fixing to boo you off the stage. If that is the case this morning, Charlotte, feel free to hit the mute button. It won't bother me any. And I appreciate the bio and intro this morning as well. I think Charlotte may actually know me better than I know myself, and for that, I don't know whom we should be probably more concerned for at this point in time. But yes, as mentioned, I've kind of scrolled through here to look to see. I pretty much know everybody, and if I don't, I at least recognize the names on here. So, and if I don't actually know you, hopefully I'll get a chance to at some particular point in time moving down the road. So, yeah, she mentioned my name is John Ford. I am the first district Riley County commissioner at this particular point in time. I'm in year number 3 of a 4-year term and currently serving as board chair. And one of the, I guess, consequences of 2020 is I find myself in the position of being the tenured commissioner at this point in time. And it wasn't something I was certainly anticipating. And I use that word kind of loosely just because, well, for one, my other 2 colleagues are listening across the way there, but realistically, it's not necessarily anything to do with age or wisdom or experience or background. It's just basically time served. So for me, what's interesting, or at least I find interesting, and I hope everybody here finds this interesting, is my experience that put me here didn't actually happen in Riley County, and it didn't actually happen in Kansas. As Charlotte mentioned, I spent some time both out on the East Coast in Ohio and in particular Kentucky, and that's kind of where it started. I grew up on a horse and tobacco farm. I know, Kentucky, right? In the good old county of Hardin County. And I will tell you, I say Hardin County, Kentucky for a couple of different reasons. One, because I'm a county official, and that's what we are trained to do, believe it or not. And the second reason why I mention that is because the immense amount of history that county has, both to American and in particular our presidential history, as that is the birthplace county of our 16th president, one Mr. Abraham Lincoln. And I grew up about 10 minutes away from there in a town called Rineyville. And usually when I say that, everybody thinks of this like little small, blink and you miss it type of community. And if you're thinking that yourself, that's exactly what it is. Although I have to admit, it's kind of moving up in the world these days. It has a Sonic now, and another maybe cliche for the South, a Dollar General store. So it's really kind of moving up in the world. But Rineyville is actually named for Zachariah Riney, who was Lincoln's first and only school teacher. As today's standards, he had what's basically equivalent of a formal 3rd grade education, which for me is also ironic because that was the last grade I did there before moving out to Manhattan here in the summer of 1986. So actually that stat line on the bio there actually probably needs to be updated. I think I'm on, I don't know, the math gets tough sometimes. I guess that would be year 35 now here in June. So I think, and I was thinking about this morning before I got here, I think I was part of the 2nd class that started at Amanda Arnold. If I didn't need to feel old already on a Thursday morning, but I'm going to do some research and make sure I'm right on that one. But I did 4th and 5th grade there, and then redistricting at that particular point in time moved me over to Lee Elementary. And I do want to stop for just a second, and if there's anybody from USD 383 on here, I want to apologize for using that nasty little R word there. But I do want to mention that when I did move over to Lee Elementary School, it was probably one of the best years of my elementary school, and I have several lifelong friends from that particular year too. So there are times where those things can work out for the better for those people involved. So I just wanted to point that out. So did middle school. I'm one of the last classes to do that downtown at Points. As Charlotte mentioned, a 1995 graduate of Manhattan High. I think there may be several other ones on there that have that distinct honor as well. And decided at that point in time that K-State was what I wanted to do and what I needed to do, and I started there in the fall of 1995. It didn't quite work out. It took some time to figure out where I was going and what I was doing. So I ended up over at MATC and started the building trades program, which eventually with some extra classes and work from K-State turned into an associate's degree of construction science and applied technology, although I don't know if that's the same title of that particular program. I was very proud of some of the work I did in the student government organization. We worked on a recreditation process for the college at that point in time, which led to the EMT program that's now defunct, that was there, I think, for 4 or 5 years, and the dental program, which I guess is also going out this year, but was very proud to be able to work and get those established, at least for the time that they were there. And that work and effort was very, very important. So moving forward, I've always been kind of civically minded and government minded as the bio protests. I served on some boards and I've always paid attention to things locally, but moving forward, I just kind of kept on working, kind of kept on doing my own thing. I currently am employed out at Florence Manufacturing, kind of goes with my degree and my background. I work in their automated parcels department, so we do a lot of automated stuff for places around the country. And I've also worked in quality assurance, but because of my other status here, it doesn't work out full-time necessarily. And I believe at 190-something employees right now, I'm actually the only part-time employee. It's very difficult to do in that particular environment, but they've worked well with me and back and forth, and somehow we make that work. Somehow I make that work. Sometimes I don't know how, but it does work. So, and the facility itself is also in my district. So that's been a benefit for both them and me as well. And particularly for them last year, when you have somebody on the front lines of things that can help you through this, these challenges that we've all faced through 2020 and kind of working to move through here in 2021. So the journey to this particular spot as commissioner wasn't something that was necessarily planned. It wasn't something that I was deciding to do, but it also wasn't something that just kind of happened either. As mentioned, I've worked on some other campaigns and I've served on some other local boards and what have you. So I'm, pretty knowledgeable, but, after years and years of people pestering me about future plans and what I should do and what I shouldn't do, I've finally just, everything kind of seemed to came together. And I decided in 2018 that if I was going to do it, now is the time to do it. So I decided to run, and well, here we are, for better or for worse. To be totally honest with you, I've always thought this, and I still think this, and I will probably continue to think this, that honestly, there is somebody better that can do this. Somebody maybe older or more experienced or with a little bit more wisdom and background. I think what I've come to realize, though, is maybe they're not here because they're smart. I don't know. It's a difficult challenge. 2020 has been difficult to add on top of that. But I will tell you, if there was any place that I wanted to serve, it's right here. It's been an honor and just extremely grateful every day, even though some days are challenging, some days are frustrating, some days can be very, very discouraging, particularly in 2020. But I haven't lost sight of the fact that I serve a great community, great group of people. Didn't know how I was going to top Tara's presentation there. That's absolutely amazing and just shows you the wide variety of good things that are going on here from all levels. And, that reiterates what's important here, and being able to serve a great community like this within the present. I don't know what the future is going to bring just yet, but I'm really enjoying and grateful for the opportunity that I have. COVID's been a challenge. I don't think I need to speak to everybody about that, and I won't go on and on about it, but I do feel like from where we're sitting at right now, we are starting to see at least light at the end of the tunnel. And I think, though maybe everything hasn't been done perfectly and everybody hasn't been in agreement on several things, and a lot of things actually, at the end of the day, if there's ever a community and region that could guide themselves through this and get to the other side, maybe I'm being biased, I really do think we can do this. We've got great community partners, and I think when we get to the other side, we'll learn some valuable lessons that will only help and strengthen our ability to do the things that we need to do moving forward. For me, at least in the rest of the time that I have, at least currently, I will suggest that I do have some priorities. I had some priorities last year, but obviously COVID kind of took precedence and still is, and that's still the number one priority is working with our people on the ground, the health department and the EOC, and doing the things that we need to do to guide ourselves through this. And for me, after that, it's going to be working on some new comprehensive planning for Riley County, trying to figure out where we're at and develop a strategy for infrastructure and facilities and what things are going to look like with personnel moving forward, because obviously that's changed since the last time we've done that. And you know, if we can get through all that and get ourselves set up, and if all else fails, at least I know I've established something good for whoever serves, you know, down the road. So it's very, very important, at least from our perspective, to do that and to get through that and to continue to work and network with everybody in the community and find those common grounds and figure out what it is that we can do and how it is we can better the Flint Hills region. So that's kind of what my focus and intentions are. And, you know, I'm often reminded, just kind of in summary here, I'm always reminded by a quote that JFK used back in the early 60s when we were talking about space exploration, and everybody thought how difficult and impossible it would be to accomplish. Now we know many, many moons later that, no pun intended, that we were able to actually accomplish that. He always said that, you know, we don't do these things because they're easy. We do these things, in fact, because they're hard. And when you understand both of those perspectives, it really opens up the opportunities of what you can and can't accomplish. So it's something that I'm focused on, and it's something that continues to drive and keep me energetic, and it's what's going to keep driving me moving forward. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close at this moment. I don't want to spend all morning talking about me, but and give anybody any chance to answer any questions that they may have as well. But I do want to wish everybody good wealth and good health, and to take care moving forward, and most importantly, stay safe out there as we work through the challenges that we face. And thank you, Charla. Thank you, Chamber, for the opportunity this morning. Really have enjoyed this event since my time as a commissioner. So once again, I wish it could be in person this morning, but appreciate the opportunity. And I want everybody to know that, at least from my perspective, my door is always open for anything anybody needs. And I thank you. Have a good Thursday, everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Ford. I'm not seeing any questions in our chat box yet, but there might be a couple that will arise. Could you reiterate to everyone, though, if they would like to speak to you on an issue, or they'd like to know more about what the commission is facing or when their meetings are, where would they find that information at, Commissioner?
Sure, you can go to the Riley County website, and there's a commissioner's link on there, and that will show up all the information in terms of agendas and some of the things we're working on. We recently have hired a press information officer, so there's some press releases on social media channels, and we're working on developing that a little bit more in depth too. As far as reaching out to me, basically every platform's open. You can email, you can call, you can text. I go through the social media list. It might take me a minute, but everybody has their channels and ways of doing that, and I'm more than willing to meet in person whenever it's plausible as well. Sometimes it's I would probably just about 100% of the time guarantee you that if you call me, you won't catch me, but if you leave a message, I will certainly get back with you at the first available opportunity. So absolutely not a problem for that. So
great. Well, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so very, very much. As we close today, I'd like to remind everybody about the annual meeting tomorrow with HYPE. And then our very important business exchange, which we call VIBE, is March the 24th. And that's an opportunity for everyone to network. They can tell 30 seconds about their business. And new chamber members have 2 minutes to tell about their business. So it's a great opportunity for us all to get to know our neighbors a little bit better. And with that, I think I'm going to call this a great good morning, Manhattan. And thank you, and wish you all a great rest of the week. Thank you all so much for being here today. So I'm going to do the Zoom wave.